What's up, guys? This is Adventure on Purpose.
And I'm Kelly.
And I'm Mike.
And I'm Danny.
And I'm Lee.
Follow along.
On this podcast where we talk about all sorts of adventures. What types of adventures?
Well, we talk about not just adventures. We talk about money, mindset, pushing through, building empires, and just straight crushing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you like that sort of thing,
hit the like button.
Download.
And listen.
Listen.
And also share with your friends, because we just want everyone to hear that you don't have to be serious all the time, but you still can, crush your goals and just be awesome.
Be happy.
Don't worry.
And live that perfectly adventurous life. We are rolling on both cameras, people.
3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm
Action.
Tan.
I'm
Which one do we look at? Or do
Hello,
we
I'm
all look
Lee,
at
the
one?
camera guy.
Well, as you can see, we're actually together now.
Yes.
So we're in this nice trailer that we own, and we are in, how do you say it, Kahuna.
Cayuna.
There we go.
Cayuna.
Which is Crosby, Minnesota, which we love.
Mm-hmm.
Lee and I have been here. You two haven't.
No.
What do you guys think of the first time?
Beautiful. My
It's-
favorite part is the red.
The red.
We're in a shipment
Yes.
of red soil. Soil?
Soil?
Is it soil?
Yeah, I guess you could say
Sediment?
soil, rock,
Dirt.
nutrients.
Yeah.
Iron ore. Dust.
We'll post a photo.
But why is it so red?
Mike said because the
Iron ore.
iron ore.
Yeah.
There used to be mines here, all around, all the lakes around here. There's a bunch of lakes now, but I guess there used to be mines in all the different lakes.
Yeah.
Do you know how long ago?
Yep, I think it was about.
Oh, actually,
Danny does.
we read the sign today, and 1960
Oh,
was the
nice.
one of the
Not long
mines,
ago.
anyways.
Got it.
That was the last time they mined there, and so now the water just fills up and it's so clear.
It's
And what did you guys
ridiculously
catch
clear.
today?
We caught a bunch of bass.
Bunch of bass.
Yeah.
And Kel and I just hung
I
out
didn't catch
waiting
one.
for these
You
guys.
two were
some
just
cheeses.
cruising.
Yeah, what we went mountain biking, we went kayaking. What else?
Trail run.
Trail run.
That
Yeah.
was the main ingredient.
Well, these guys went mountain biking. This one's got a little one on the way, so
We did not.
Do you want to fall off?
yep, don't want to fall off.
Right.
And
So we're smelly.
yeah.
They're smelly in the trailer.
And we both couples were like, we should not be going adventuring because we should be doing more productive stuff.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
secretly,
And now we're all smelly.
Yes.
that's good.
Driving. So you're in the hot seat today.
I'm in the
Are
hot
you
But
seat.
ready?
You're in the hot seat.
Your pants are probably wet from kayaking.
Yeah, so it's pretty cold.
They're
In
just
the wet
sitting on a
seat.
bucket.
In the wet seat.
So my question is kind of funny because you answered it today on the kayak, but I didn't know this about you. So when you were 18, I want to know what you actually wanted to do, but what you actually went to school for because other people wanted you to. And it's funny because you actually answered this kind
Yeah. So I actually went to school for exercise physiology. So my reasoning for it was just to, I liked exercising
Yeah.
and I wanted to help other people exercise, I guess. But when I came out of high school, I had taken an architecture class and I just completely loved messing around with computer programs and stuff. But further into that, I love being creative. So I love designing things, drawing things, and I wanted to go into art. But people always say these days you can't make any money off an art degree, so that's why I went into something else, which I'm not even using that degree. So.
You're kind of using art though.
Yeah, exactly.
which is
Yeah.
weird now.
Yeah, weird.
And
Huh.
building is an art.
That's true. Yeah.
And you're
So you
scrappy
are.
wood.
Yeah.
Yep, scrappy wood. We're doing all the different designs on the stuff we make.
Oh. Full circle it comes.
It's
Go
weird.
figure.
Yes, so that's why you follow what you want to do.
Yeah, that's right. Follow your adventure.
Yes.
Did you feel like you were gonna get made fun of? Was that a factor?
That's a good point. Yeah, like in my family, that would probably be pretty like a funny thing for people to talk about and say.
Mhm.
Like, Lee's doing art.
He's going into art.
He's going
Wait,
into
what?
art.
He does art?
But my great grandma was an amazing painter, so
So they might not have. You might have just been saying that in your head.
yeah.
That they're gonna make fun of you.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
we all do that, don't we?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Serious.
that's true.
Okay, Mikey, what's your question?
My
for Lee?
question for you, Lee, is off of like one of your fun facts, like that you like building stuff with your hands.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm curious, what is the one thing you've always wanted to build?
Oh
And
man.
just kind of go into detail of what
So
that
many
is.
things, huh?
Well, the only thing that pops into my head right now is like a wood katana. To be honest.
Serious? Oh, that is not.
Well, cause there's like this super cool YouTube video that I've seen where this dude actually makes like this wood katana. It's like a full size. Looks like you can chop your head off katana.
That's funny.
But it's just kind of interesting how he how he used the bandsaw to just cut along this whole line and just make it perfect. Look like, a work of art.
Huh.
Like he'd made it from out of metal,
Huh.
basically. But I mean, I think he used like different types of wood for each piece, like the handle and then the whole blade. But he made it how he would make metal too. Like you would make the metal run through into the handle underneath. So, but
Huh.
kind of cool.
Sweet.
Okay, so
That's the only thing that popped in my head right now.
Don't
There's a lot
use
of other
our
things.
bandsaw.
Yeah, don't use our bandsaw.
not
It's
good.
ancient.
Does it like wave around?
Yeah, it just one of the blades just broke on us.
Well, he was making something,
Yep.
and it was fun for him. I was like,
That it broke.
yeah.
She's all worried about me, but
I'm like, it's not fun when you lose a portion of your.
but it's fun as a guy. Like maybe you can relate to this. Like as a guy, if nothing happens, it was fun.
It was,
Yeah.
it was a rush.
Yeah, that's right. I want to do it again.
Could have lost your hand, but it was so fun.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so true.
And I was
Oh,
like,
God.
we're done for the day.
Did he listen to you?
Yeah, you did.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Yeah. That's like.
All right,
My
so-
question.
Mm.
My question lines up with today's topic. What is going to be your approach? We have a little one on the way, you guys already know. Your approach to teaching our kids about money and duo. What are you excited? Like, how are you, like, what excites you about it?
Huh. Well, that's a good one. I like it.
You might have to think
I think,
about it.
well, okay. So I think I'm gonna attack it the same way as everything else. I want to, have patience with it. If they like really are gravitate towards like I want to sell worms on the sidewalk, or I want to sell rocks on the
That's
sidewalk.
your dream.
Okay, that would be my dream. Is it-
Yes, you do.
Yes, let's do it. I know how
So
to get the
do I.
worms too.
Worm
Classic.
hunting.
Yeah.
We had a whole episode on worm catching.
So yeah, I would just use patience with it and just let it kind of develop, I guess. Not necessarily push them one way or the other, just kind of
Yeah.
see where they go with it.
Are you
But
gonna
if-
start conversations, or
I would like to,
Yeah.
like bring up certain ways. I've actually done it with like my nephew and niece, like I can't remember what the instance was.
You bought a rock.
Oh, I bought a rock from my,
For her store.
from my niece, her store. She has like a store set up in
Oh,
their
that's
entryway.
awesome.
But
She's
she
got a
didn't take
cash
cards.
register. Yeah, I only had a card. So I went to slide the card because she had a card reader, and she hadn't used that. She's like, but you got to
That's
put the
not
money in
money.
here.
That's not money.
Oh.
But yeah, so like any instances like that pop up where there's a way to talk about it through what they like. I
Yeah.
think.
Huh.
I think I'll try
Selling
to do.
rocks.
Yeah. But
Good answer.
we gotta remember to actually give her some money for those.
Oh,
She's-
real money.
Yeah, real money.
She's got it. She knows that you did
How
not
old
give
is
it.
she?
Five now, I think. Yeah.
You got that money for that.
She's gonna be bugging you.
Did you keep the rock?
Yeah, we still have it.
We should bring it back and say we want to return it because it had some defects.
Oh.
See what she said. See if she
She probably would
grasps
say,
that.
"Oh, I got a new one here," or something.
Probably.
Huh.
This rock wasn't rocking.
Wasn't quite the rock I was looking for.
What's your return policy on these rocks?
It's been like 60 days.
Hmm.
So that goes into our topic,
Yeah, what were we gonna talk about?
money.
Or
Money
kind of
mindset.
a like evolution of like what you started with as a child around money and like your parents' relationship with you with money, and then like how did that evolve through like college and
Life.
how it's changed over time.
I think it might be interesting for the viewers and the listeners to like listen from us. Like we're like millennials, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like some of the listeners probably don't think that we have the best
Money mindset.
money mindset and whatnot. But you guys listening, you should know Dan and Mike have their own website, Bucks and Dope, their
Check
own
it
blog.
out.
You
Yeah.
should check it out sometime. But they go into all sorts of stuff like that, talking about different money mindset things.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
So what were your guys' upbringings?
yeah.
I'll go first.
Go for it.
I was raised in a family where we talked about money like at the table, and like it wasn't like you have to save all this money. It was just more like my parents were talking about my dad's business and talking about like I don't know, we don't need to buy like a nice thing. So it was like, and my brother was like not gonna buy anything expensive, like super cheap stuff, and I wanted to be just like him. So I think that was like a huge thing too. Because I think if he would have wanted to like buy the nice things, I would have been like, I want to get that stuff.
Yeah.
So I really think that is a huge, because he's still like that, and so now I still want to be like him. And yeah, we literally talked about money. We talked about, but I also didn't have to pay for much myself. Like my parents bought me, like not everything I wanted, but like if I needed something,
help.
they would help me, and I think I'm still that same way. So when I met Mikey and he had like nice things, I was like, oh. There's
What is this?
like nice things out there, because we always just bought like used stuff and like
Turns out I
Not-
had lots of debt.
yeah. So in my head I was like, huh, he must have bought that straight up, because that's how my parents always did it.
Yeah.
But then I met him and I was like, huh, you can get a loan for a 4-wheeler, and you can. So and I am still like super cheap, like I wouldn't say cheap, but like I'm not gonna expend big money on stuff.
You're not gonna buy something that you
Right.
can't afford.
And so I think
Within
my,
your means.
what's the mindset called? Not sacred.
Frugal.
Frugal.
Frugal mindset.
Frugal mindset. Like I'd rather have more money in my checking account than like a nice pair of jeans.
We
or
talk
whatever.
about this once in a while, but we never have the same toothpaste at home. Like growing, this is an interesting observation. So, like growing up, we always had the same exact toothpaste.
Never
changed
strayed.
since I've been
Yeah.
ever remember. And like with Danny and I, like kind of like just buy whatever's cheapest, and we don't care.
Yeah.
Well, now it's kind of getting to the point where it's like, rather than buying the 40-cent toothpaste that is absolutely terrible and tastes disgusting, like
you gotta
let's buy
double.
$1.50 toothpaste
Yeah.
next time.
Because the cavity's gonna be way more than
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah, you gotta outweigh
Yeah.
it sometimes.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this, I think it was yesterday, but your mindset hasn't actually changed that much.
No.
Huh.
Like I've always
From-
been save, save, save. You don't need to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think I want to talk about how you guys talked about money, because that's wonderful. Like
Yeah.
that your parents made it like
I feel like it wasn't like a big deal.
yeah, it was a comfortable thing to talk about.
Mhm.
You know, I think in a lot of
It's
families
like
it's
taboo.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
taboo to talk about it.
Totally.
I guess I don't know. I didn't know like how much my parents made or anything like that. It was more like it was just like a regular.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like shh, we don't talk about money, and
Right.
like we didn't really struggle with money either. So I think if we maybe struggled with money, it would have been more. Don't talk
Different.
about it.
Yeah.
So I think that is also, and my like my parents were brought up totally like one was kind of didn't have that much money and the other one was completely fine. So then they wanted to make sure that like we were
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to worry about that because that's a big thing. So yeah, we didn't like actually talk about like numbers, but it wasn't like
A topic that
awkward.
wasn't ever
Right.
covered.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think that's.
Yeah.
What about
I
you?
guess for me, like, we didn't necessarily like vocally talk about money at dinner, really, or even like that was just not like necessarily part of our lifestyle. But like since I was little, like my parents like had me manage my own money
Oh.
since I was little.
Hmm.
So I've always
cool.
managed my own bank account. That I would put money in my bank account
Mhm.
as soon as I could remember.
Mhm.
But which is really cool, just to like understand like what you have,
Knowing what's in
and
there.
yeah,
Mm.
and you've always had like always was instilled that you work for your money. Like you know, I would always be paid allowance, but it was like I would get paid for mowing the grass. I would get so much every time I mowed the grass.
Nice.
And so
Okay.
I'd tally that up every time, and then I would save it in my like I actually had like a cash little folder, which is kind of funny to think
Like
about.
The zip?
Yep,
Oh, nice.
like one of those money bags. Yep, I still have that somewhere, but it's But I had like different categories, like for charity, for savings, for spending on
Oh,
Oh, you
stuff.
got
cool.
a charity one?
That's awesome.
Yep.
What a kid.
Mhm. So like I always had like a pretty good relationship, like personally, like I always managed my own money,
Mhm.
but I also managed my own money. So once I got to the point where I started like making money,
Having
like
money.
really making money, but I had my first job interview at like age 9. And wanted to work at a concession stand.
Oh, nice.
Mhm. So I like had a little talk with the guy, our family friends who own this concession stand business, and like just really wanted to work there.
That's cool.
Really wanted to own the trailer one day, is what I told him.
Oh, got the job.
So I made $1.50 an hour at like age 9, which some people might think that's like really low or something, but like at age 9, like that is like gold.
Yeah.
Like you get handed a $20 bill at after a weekend at work, and you're like,
Sweet.
There
This
we
is
go.
awesome. then I bought my first gun, and that changed. Because then I was like, well, if I make this much money, I can spend this much money.
Fun stuff.
Mhm.
And then I would just blow it. And then it like changed. Then I was like just trying to make more money so I could spend more money,
Mhm.
which is different. And I never really got taught any of like how to make money work for you versus work for money. Like that's
Mhm.
it. That's all I knew, or kind of still trying to get out of that.
Mhm.
But then like the pressures of going to college, like that is a lot. like your family and
Yeah.
friends, and everybody's like focused on like, well, you have to go get a good job, and that's it. Like that's your option. So it's like, well, I don't want to like do hard labor all the time,
Yeah.
and so like that was the only other option,
Mhm.
either hard labor or go to college. So I was like, huh.
I guess I'm going to
Yeah, I guess I'm going to college. And then just like, it's kind of weird because I used to have a really good relationship with money, and then all of a sudden I was just using it to just spend,
Mhm.
and then it evolved into keeping up with the Joneses.
Mm.
You know, as I was like, I really want to buy my own truck, and so, well, I can get a loan to buy a truck,
Mhm.
and so then it just like snowballed after college, because then I got paid, really paid, and then it was just like trying to keep up. Like my raise went to my spending,
Yeah.
or I was spending before I got a raise, which is like just a terrible crap.
What was the shift, Danielle? Or was it
Yeah,
before?
it was.
Oh,
was like- well,
a
it was like-
blessing.
Just like, because we started talking about money together
Like 9 months into our
Yeah.
or something.
like we've been talking about money.
but then
and
we were like reading like Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then we were like,
yes.
Opening
that's
your
the book
eyes.
that-
That's the book that really
Taught you.
switched us, like,
yeah.
but we were looking for our own journey. And
We didn't
that
even know
one,
it, I
like,
think.
opened us up to
Mhm.
like thinking differently, completely thinking
Because
differently.
like our life goals were not how we were spending money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so then I still was in the like, debt is okay, which debt isn't necessarily bad. We kind of talk about it here and there about like buying houses and like how much
Mm-hmm.
leverage you have and stuff like that. But I have had loans for the stupidest things and credit cards
But
and
you don't
Loans for
have them
things that
anymore.
aren't gonna make you
don't have
money,
them anymore.
basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's really weird to like 3 years later be like, huh, I bought that thing that long ago, and I'm still paying for that thing that I don't even use enough right now. It's like,
To make it worth it.
yeah. And then, I don't know, there was a major shift once we went to Montana.
the FI community,
Yeah,
Gotcha.
financial
Mhm.
independent community. We're like, holy moly,
because we were
They're
thirsty.
doing it right.
Yeah,
totally changed our whole thing
Mhm.
in like a month.
totally switched. And then after we came back from our journey in Alaska, after I didn't have a job for a long time because I up and quit my job, moved to Montana with Danny, and then we tried to be guides in Alaska, and then we didn't make any money for 2 more months. And then I was like, holy crap, this really sucks because I still have to pay all these bills. I don't have anything to pay
And
with.
nothing's coming in.
And right then and there, as we came back, like I was 100% focused on like paying all debt off, and
Starting clean.
that like
Flip.
Yeah.
absolutely
Completely.
changed everything, because I was like, oh, I don't need all this crap, because we were just getting rid of stuff. Don't need it.
Mhm.
I haven't used that for that long. Okay, garbage.
See, that's where I'm
Just
at right now.
garbage.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
liberating.
Yeah, it was
It
nice.
is, isn't
Yeah.
it?
But yeah, and then now it's just like weird, like our goals are so focused around that part of it.
Too much focus sometimes,
Sometimes.
maybe, but
Better
Sometimes.
that than opposite.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What about you, Cal?
Me. So I come from a family of 4 kids. So we were raised with, like, we're not going to get everything we want, or we're going to get a slim portion of what we want, unless we buy it, or work for it, or get a hand-me-down, which we got a lot of hand-me-downs. And you kind of just, like, hand-me-down kids, like, kind of sucks when you're in the kids stage. And you're like, gosh, this sucks. Like, I just want that new, like, iPad or something.
Yeah.
But you learn to kind of embrace it, I feel like, and just be like, this is life. Like,
Yeah.
such is life. Like, you don't need it new. You still got it. So that's how we were raised. So we didn't, like, none of us asked for things, like, as we got a little older. Like, when we were little, we did. But we didn't, like, we just learned that we don't want to ask.
Yeah.
because we're not gonna get it. We're gonna get shut down. And they'll say, well, maybe for Christmas, and then you don't get it at Christmas.
So did you guys talk with family and all about
So,
much?
no, because of that we didn't.
Mm.
But we did know that my parents did together, like, because we knew that they just like talked about everything.
They just kind of took care of it.
Yeah, like they're gonna do that together, and we'll do that together.
Mm-hmm.
Which was kind of a good thing to see.
Mm-hmm. 'Cause
Like
you can-
they're a team. Like they're not like fighting over it or like there's all these bills.
Mhm.
Like it was like you knew that they were doing it together, but they just didn't need us to help, or like they didn't need to talk about it.
Mhm.
Which I don't know. I kind of liked it. Like I didn't really need to know.
Yeah, you just could focus on your things.
Yeah, like being
your-
a kid.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it I don't know. Like it maybe would have been nice to like
Chat about it.
yeah. But it worked out.
It worked out.
I feel like you guys, all you kids are,
Yeah.
all the siblings are.
And we're all like pretty wise as adults with our like we're not gonna go out and like we're not materialistic.
Because you had all the
Purchasers.
hand-me-downs. Like,
Right.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
The
there
blessing
something you
and curse.
learned about money from someone else, or like something later on after going to like college or anything like that? That like
It was probably our move to Colorado where my money mindset shifted. Like we quit, we didn't have jobs or a place to live. So
changes things.
when we got our apartment and had our seasonal jobs and we high-fived that we paid rent. It was-
Barely. Yeah.
It was like, all right, so we can pretty much live on nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
So
Yeah, we know at the least we're gonna make it happen.
We're gonna be, we're gonna figure it out.
We know how to make it happen if we have to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then just like the things we dove into in Colorado and learning, I think was the shift.
It's funny that both of ours was having to move away from like
Yeah.
our normal life.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Huh.
What about you?
How
Me?
much did you-
Well, I mean, never really talked about money at all. The person I talk the most with about money is my brother. He had me actually read Rich Dad Poor Dad
Oh, nice.
when I was in like 6th grade.
Huh.
So I remember reading this book. I was like a bookworm. I think he probably read like a chapter or two of it. And
Gave it to you.
Yeah, and then he gave it to
How
me and
much
said,
older
"You
is
should,
he
you should
than
read
you?
this."
This has gotta be good.
6
Tell
and
me
a
what
half,
it's
7
about.
years. That's probably what it was like. Yeah. But so back then, I'd read, and I always kept reading and stuff. But there was something always there. I think after reading that book, where there's something always there where I'm like a job or like a wage type job isn't like it. Like there's definitely more more to being financially independent and to life in finance realm. But the other side with my parents, my dad, he's just straight laced. You put this much to retirement, whatever. He has it all kind of set. But the problem there is my parents never talked about it, and they even would fight about it at times. Like I remember as a little kid seeing like credit cards cut up and stuff, like fights being had about it. So being from that side of the pond, it's kind of like I don't want that to happen.
No.
I want to find how to have my kids see that money be
It's
a positive
not a-
thing,
yeah.
not this negative thing that can like tear
Tear people
tear
apart.
people apart. So yeah, so that's kind of the background with money, but I think it was, oh well, like I said, I always had something back in the back of my head there, but I think the big shift was when in Colorado. Or even on the way out to Colorado. It was so weird. It was like
It's like we were driving into a shift.
yeah, because I was listening to like podcasts on that 18 hour trip, but we made it into like a weekend trip out there.
You were listening to Financial Independence podcast?
Well, no, so
related?
well,
Oh.
it kind of moved into that, like with
Lance.
Gary Vee.
Yeah.
And, well, it moved from exercise, I guess, because I listened to Lance Armstrong podcast, and then he had Gary Vaynerchuk on his podcast, and then it just kind of dominoed
That's
from
so
there.
weird. Like your exercise passion and your degree led you to this like shift of.
Huh.
Like, what if you didn't listen to that one? You wouldn't have.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah. that is so interesting. Like you can sometimes
Cal just did that.
little tap. But that is so interesting where you can almost narrow things down to a moment sometimes.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a lot of other things that happen
Right.
to help that. But that was kind of a big thing, moving out there, and then after I listened to him, I like stove into all of his stuff, and then
Gary
from
Vee?
and then from there it moved into like bigger pockets and those types of
Bigger
Yeah.
Pockets was actually my
That's a
big
pretty-
shift too.
that they had us freaking going through
Whoa.
analyzing deals like
Yeah.
10 deals a day for
I
like
remember when you told me.
Yeah, we had a notebook. We probably still have it.
yeah, we probably still have that somewhere. But we were in Colorado analyzing deals back in
Knowing we were coming back to
back in
get
Wisconsin,
these deals.
Minnesota area.
Huh.
Awesome.
Yeah, so like 10 deals a day for I don't know how long
We
we
did it in the
for.
car on the way to hikes.
yeah, like we were
did it all
getting
the
into
time.
it.
That's awesome.
Like it
We
was
were actually
seriously
good at it for a minute, and now we don't analyze.
no. Well, yeah,
We will.
yeah,
Yeah, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it was just kind of that shift into more of the I don't want to work for the rest of my life. I want to actually start, you know, having some sort of passive income coming in and all these other streams to help with my daily life.
Also,
Daily
the shift
adventure.
happened in Colorado
Daily
too.
adventure.
Because we were like, we want to hike during the weekday.
Yeah.
Like, we want that freedom to, if we want to go on a hike on Wednesday,
You can.
we will.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny. I just thought about it now, but like our parents pretty much had only one income coming in, right? But they all have like investment accounts that are like, you know, they're balancing investment accounts that are in different things, but nobody ever like, what about your income in different things versus,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
right?
what are
Like-
you investing in? What does your
Right.
retirement look like?
Right.
Or like, were you talking about like your
Like,
investment?
people
10%
are, like-
investment, like 20%
Yeah.
transportation.
Well, no, I'm
Or
saying
no?
like the money in your investment account, you're putting in different things
Oh,
to like
gotcha.
avoid risk and stuff.
Yeah.
But what about the major risk
Put
of your income?
in different things, or have it come from
Like,
different
yeah,
things.
come from different things, just instead of
Yeah.
one source.
That's true.
So
Like
weird.
this pandemic, for example.
That's a
Everyone should have
great
been
example.
asking before, like, if you lose your job tomorrow,
What are you gonna do?
Right.
what do you have to back you
No one
yourself up?
thought they would lose their
Yeah,
job tomorrow.
but so many have.
Like healthcare was put into big.
And who
big
would have
stress
thought?
and- yeah, exactly.
Like, you're the most secure jobs out there, and they
Right.
were laid off.
yeah.
Like,
That
what's
is
your
weird.
backfall?
Yeah.
What are you gonna
So-
fall back on?
Tips for our listeners is read Bigger Pockets.
Yes.
Rich, or not Bigger Pockets.
Well,
This
I
is
mean,
good.
they
yeah.
have so
They
many
have
books.
forums.
Yeah.
Yeah. You asked all sorts of questions. on
But
the
what I
website.
was really meant to say.
Rich Dad,
Rich
Dad,
Dad,
Poor
Poor
Dad.
Dad.
Rich Dad Poor
Also,
Dad.
have you guys read the Babylon? What's it?
Yes.
Ooh.
Richest man. in
Richest
I
the
man
world.
haven't
in
read it
Babylon.
yet,
You
actually.
haven't?
It
Really
is.
good one.
It is such a simple. Like, if you love a good story, but also teach you like simple ways to invest basically is what it's
Yeah.
doing, I guess.
Sweet.
It's great. It's a great read
It's a
because
good
it's a
one.
cool story tied in with the financial world. And yeah, that was a good one.
I pulled that one up in a job interview once, and it was like, sealed the deal.
Sealed the deal. Now you don't even
Now
want
I
a
don't
job
care.
interview.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, I had a question for someone, but I don't remember.
Yeah, so you guys, we are sitting in the back of Dan and Mike's trailer.
Stinky.
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 Loving that.
We're in a boat launch over in Cuyuna National, or no, State Park?
State Park,
Rec
yeah.
something.
State Rec.
Yeah.
But just to paint the picture for you, we have the back end open of the trailer.
Central Minnesota.
Central Minnesota.
We just did a lot of adventuring and talked
So
financial
great.
freedom. Everyone
So great.
is jacked.
We are so
Jacked about this Saturday.
Talked about
So-
adventures. Talked about loan to value ratios.
And
Talked
Lee was so
about-
excited about that fish you got.
Oh, heck
Just
yeah.
jacked.
I get
So
so
were
excited.
you.
Get so excited catching fish. There's not
So
much else
fun.
like it.
Mm-mm.
You know, that first little...
Yeah, you just ripped
How
it
can you
up.
talk to kids about money while fishing? Like
Oh.
while
Mm.
incorporating fishing?
Mm.
That's interesting. That'd be
See,
kinda fun.
see, guys, sometimes you get snags, and sometimes you get... sometimes you get fish.
But Kel and I, we actually were talking something good. When we saw the muskrat hut,
Oh, yes!
Go
we
ahead.
did. I kind of forgot. It was really good in the moment. But
There's a muskrat hut on the lake that while we were kayaking.
yeah, and I was like, this could be like a podcast theme. Look at how hard this muskrat works to build up their empire. They brought all these logs on to make their house. And then our dog Abby just goes and tromps on it. Like, nobody lives there. Nobody worked hard. And what did I say? How did I tie that in?
something like, you just gotta get back up after someone trumps it down.
Tramples all
Keep
They
over.
may not,
building.
yeah, not everyone will understand how much you put into
Yes.
something.
Mhm.
And not everybody. I always talk about this. Not everybody is as excited about your own thing as you are.
Oh,
Actually, no one is.
Nobody.
Probably.
Exactly.
The closest one is your partner.
Sibling. Or
Also, maybe your siblings.
partner. I was going to say spouse, but for some reason
Sibling.
That was funny.
But I talk about that all the time. See, no, Abby wasn't as excited about that.
Yeah.
No.
That
Yeah,
muskrat
she
house.
just saw it as a bunch of sticks.
She peed on
See,
it.
that's how some
Even.
people view our.
Didn't really even care
Airbnbs.
about the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how people view it, like our Airbnbs,
Anything we
our scrappy
do.
goods, your bucks and dough.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
as excited. But you gotta be as excited all the time.
It's
Yep.
such a weird concept
Yep.
for people. Yeah. You're gonna do more work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's why we
Why
don't
do
do
you
it.
guys
or,
do
you know.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that line.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
never do that.
Because.
Well, don't then.
Well,
You
you
will.
saying that is already saying that you're not gonna ever do it.
Yeah.
You're giving it no chance.
You only get so much time.
Yeah,
Whew.
that's true.
So we're gonna build some muskrat huts.
Yeah.
Stick by stick.
Some damn
Live
good
by it.
muskrat.
I mean, lakefront property.
That's what I'm
I mean,
talking about. You're
And
on the
they're
water.
happy.
Yeah. Oh yes. Have you ever dreamed of having an aquarium ever?
Absolutely.
I didn't know you were gonna say.
The reason I think about that is like the muskrat hut is like semi-submerged at the edge of the water. I've always wanted a place that like you could have the house on the edge of the the lake,
Oh.
but the wall is just
Oh,
glass.
yeah.
I've
Nice.
never heard this.
That would be badass.
No, yeah.
There's stuff deep inside of this
Yeah.
brain.
So,
Figuring them out.
This is how we pull it out with podcast.
okay, so she can be seen to everyone. Hi, Abby.
Abby.
Hey everyone, nope. When it's scripted, it's tough, man. This has been Adventure on Purpose.
What's your purpose? Oh, I like it.
Oh, nice.
What's your adventure?
I like that a lot.
Say that again.
Did you?
You ready?
I'm excited. Do that again.
Say it. Oh no! What's your purpose?
Do we answer?
No, she's saying it too.
Yeah.
Like that's
Like, see ya!
See ya.